appears ordinary till you see the core side of it.
And what you're looking for is the story behind the news.
We bring it to you from Lagos, the commercial capital of Nigeria.
Giving you all sides and political stories round the clock.
Every detail from the start line to the final whistle.
CoreTV News, expanding your view.
Hello there, and thank you for joining us on CoreTV Primetime News. I am Nifemin Oguntoye. Deaths of the Nigerian Air Force in action over Sambisa Forest and parts of Goza as Boko Haram insurgents flee. Also in this program, National Peace Committee call for action from security forces on the Okrika rally violence. And Senate adopts the Alteration Bill as moves to amend the Constitution gathers momentum. Outside Nigeria, American President Barack Obama charges Muslim community on the threat of extremists. Thanks for joining us again. We'll begin tonight in Sambisa Forest, where Nigerian troops have carried out air raids on that area and Goza as part of the new offensive against Boko Haram. Defense headquarters said in a statement on its website that training camps and fuel dumps in the insurgent enclaves were destroyed by fighter planes. The military added that Sambisa Forest and some parts of Goza were the targets of the successful operation. It says scores of insurgents were killed, but will provide more details of the casualty in the course of subsequent operations. Defense authorities also hinted that the air raids were carried out to prepare grounds for a second phase of the offensive. The United States is supporting Nigeria's Safe Schools initiative with $2 million. Minister of Finance Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala made this known in Abuja at the signing of a tripartite memorandum of understanding among Nigeria, the United Nations, and the U.S. She noted that donation would go into a multi-donor trust fund set up within the UN system, but to be managed by UNDP and UNICEF. The finance minister added that Qatar is also committing $2 million to support the initiative.
Today, I'm happy to announce that the U.S. government, through USAID, has made a donation of $2 million to this multi-donor trust fund. And we are here today to witness the signing of the Memorandum of Understanding between the UN, the US, and the U.S. government in support of the government of Nigeria. And I shall be signing on behalf of the government as the witness to this contribution to us. I'm also happy to inform you that the government of Qatar, through the Qatar Foundation, has equally made a donation of $2 million into the multi-donor trust fund. I'm sure we probably will be doing something with them on this later.
Unacceptable. So we in the United States government, we're delighted to be part of this. It ties in with many other things that we're trying to do in the Northeast. Education, health, nutrition, support to IDPs, all of these things to try to decrease the human suffering as part of our overall effort to support the Nigerian government as it struggles against terror. We know from our own experience how hard that struggle can be, but also how crucial and how important that struggle is. And you just have to keep going. You can't give up. And we stand with you here in Nigeria because I know that you are not going to give up, and we are not going to give up in our efforts to support you.
President Goodluck Jonathan has commissioned 4 ships into the Nigerian Navy fleet as part of his administration's effort to boost security on the waterways. 2 of the ships were acquired from China, 1 from the United States, while a 4th, christened Prosperity, is a former Irish Navy fishery patrol boat, which was procured for training purposes. Speaking at the commissioning, President Jonathan said the newly acquired vessels would help improve maritime security.
In line with my administration's transformation agenda and our vision of becoming one of the leading economies in the world, premium is placed on improved national security. These include food security as well as employment generation. The high dependence of the nation's economy on offshore resources as well as the enormous potentials of the maritime sector to contribute to our food security and employment generation makes provision of effective maritime security very imperative. Therefore, the Nigerian Navy, as the lead maritime security agency, deserves all the support it needs to effectively carry out these statutory roles.
The alleged mastermind of the 2010 Independence Day bombing, Charles Oka, has told a federal high court in Abuja that he is now mentally and physically fit to face trial. The trial of Oka and others accused of involvement in the twin car bomb has suffered a series of setbacks, even as the accused persons on October 7 last year asked their counsel, Festus Keyamo, to stop representing them in the matter. At the resumed trial, prosecution counsel Alex Ezeon informed the court of his readiness to call witnesses to testify before the court. But the new defense counsel from legal and aid counsel Amos Abdullah asked for more time to enable him obtain the previous court proceedings. Trial judge Justice Gabriel Kolawole granted his request and adjourned the matter till April 23 for further trial. Oka, who was granted the permission to speak in court, said the condition in which he was subjected to in prison rendered him unfit for trial over the years. He further told the court that his health has sufficiently improved due to the intervention of the International Red Cross Society and the British High Commission. Members of the House of Representatives have mandated the police to prosecute anyone found culpable in the recent attack on the governorship rally of the All Progressives Congress in Okrika, Rivers State. Now, this was on the basis of a motion by Representative Robinson Uwak, who expressed worry over the spate of violence that have erupted across the country. The lawmakers also endorsed the police move to investigate the incident.
The House sadly notes that on the 17th of February 2015, guns were fired and multiple explosions were set off at the National School Field, Okrika, venue of an APC political rally in Rivers State. Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, the explosion caused the loss of many lives, including the lives of security agents, and damage to the school buildings and its facilities. We have 2 prayers here. One is to condemn the attack on the political rally in Okrika, Rivers State, and all forms of political violence. 2, to call on the Nigerian police force to investigate, arrest, and prosecute all those involved in the attack.
Those in support of the motion as amended, please say aye. Those against, please say nay. The ayes have it.
Meanwhile, the National Peace Committee has condemned the shooting incident that took place during the All Progressives Congress rally in Okrika, Rivers State. The committee, headed by former head of state Abdulsalami Abubakar, also said it will seek appropriate answers from security agencies on the incident. It cautioned party leaders and their followers against acts of violence and urged Nigerians to give relevant authorities the benefit of doubt on the sanctity of the March 28 and April 11 dates. The former head of state spoke at the meeting with the representatives of the leading political parties in Abuja.
To focus their mind on exercising their right on the election day. And we still appeal again to people to eschew violence. During the meeting here this afternoon, we as the committee have met, and we are fortunate that we have the chairman of the APC in person. And we have also the representative of the PDP chairman. Both of them have condemned any violence in their name. And we are appealing again to the youth, who are the main bulk of people that are involved in violence. To listen to the word of the elders, to listen to the word of their leaders, to ensure they are not used as cannon fodder.
The problem in this country is that electoral violence refuses to abate because law is not being enforced. If there is law enforcement added to our own appeals, I think we will see an abatement. But if there is selective law enforcement, selective because of these powers of incumbency, then you cannot expect it.
A new commissioner of police has assumed office at the state police headquarters Eleweron in Ogun State. The commissioner of police, Valentino Untunchuku, is replacing Ikemefuna Okoye, who is now an assistant inspector general of police. After an inspection, the customary inspection of a guard of honor, the new commissioner assured residents of adequate security to lives and property and a violence-free general election, while asking men and officers to always maintain a high level of discipline and integrity. Untumchuku solicited the support of residents of the state in the task of ensuring effective policing of the state.
Yeah, you should expect community policing to be reinforced. You should expect intelligence-led policing to be the principle of our strategy in this place. So we are going to synergize, with issues concerning holistic security with other security agencies. We are going to form a family so that we can share information, strategies, so that we work together to achieve our mandate of securing this particular state. Okay. If you watch, this state has been peaceful in terms of elections. They have not been having election crisis. So we are going to sustain, we are going to ensure that we sustain that. This state has no history of crisis, election-wise, so we don't expect anyone now. We are going to consult, we are going to collaborate, we are going to consult widely to ensure that all interest groups articulate their interests and we harmonize it to ensure free, fair, and transparent election.
So what's your message to the...
Senate has now approved the amendment on the 1999 Constitution. Find out details of that story and more after this timeout.
From time immemorial, women have birthed life, shaped character, and by extension, influenced the society. Moremi of Ife, Emoten of Benin, Queen Aminat of Zaria, all women of influence and power.
Whether it's before election, after election.
How ironical. Women being so powerful, yet have few grounds in decision-making.
They see you as a wife, and I see you as a wife to a man.
We are talking women in politics.
A woman will be bold enough to stand up and say, I want to become president of Nigeria.
Only on CoreTV News.
Thanks for joining us again. If you just joined us, it's CoreTV Primetime News. Here again are our top stars. Jets of the Nigerian Air Force in action over Sambisa Forest and parts of Goza as Boko Haram insurgents flee. National Peace Committee called for action from security forces on the Okrika rally violence. And still to come tonight, Senate adopts the Alteration Bill as moves to amend the Constitution gathers momentum. And you can also get all of our top stories on any of our social media platforms. On Facebook, it's facebook.com/CoreTV News. Our Twitter handle is at CoreTV News NG. We're also streaming live on YouTube. It's youtube.com/CoreTV. Live a space and news. Moving on now, the Senate on Wednesday approved amendments to the 1999 Constitution following the adoption of the submissions of state houses of assembly. As part of the amendment, presidential assent will no longer be required for amendments to the Constitution as long as the National Assembly has approved them. In moving for its adoption, Deputy Senate President Ike Ekweremadu noted that it would be the last time the President's assent would be required before constitution amendments become law. He also revealed that highlights of the bill include the annual State of the Union address by the President, independent candidacy, and the separation of the offices of Attorney General and Minister of Justice.
Let me thank the members of this committee for their hard work and their dedication and their patriotic application to this very noble assignment. And I would like for record purposes to take acknowledgement to mention the name of this very patriotic senator in very quick order. Senator Victor November, Senator Pedro Bazo, that Abdul Najib is someone that can George Akumi, Abu Ibrahim, Pastor Ahmed, Ayula Bola, Manu Dayim, James Manager, Election Body, Ojo Wesia, Chris Ayabo, Ahmed Makasi, Mata Day, Kechumo, Dana Kure, Ayo Gezo, Sulema Akoko, Ita Ena, Manu Batuda, Chris Ayabo, Manabas Kamade, Ahmed Zana, So Wako,
The All Progressives Congress says its presidential candidate, Muhammadu Buhari, is in the United Kingdom on a short working visit, contrary to suggestions in some quarters that he traveled for medical reasons. It said in a statement that in the course of the visit, Buhari would hold meetings with key members of the British political establishment and interact with some global institutions with stakeholder interest in the affairs of Nigeria. APC also expressed hope that its presidential candidate would give a talk at the Royal Institute of International Affairs, Chatham House, before returning to the country. Meanwhile, the APC has alleged a fresh plot by desperate politicians to circulate leaflets in mosques and churches asking Muslims to only vote for Muslims in the forthcoming elections. In a statement in Lagos on Thursday by its National Publicity Secretary, Lai Mohammed, the party said the plot was in line with the track record of those who had consistently used religion to divide Nigerians in order to further their political nest. APC reminded Nigerians of the most recent attempt to use religion as a tool to win votes, citing the case of Vice President Namadi Sambo, saying the PDP had more Muslims than the APC, and that the APC vice presidential candidate is a pastor who runs 5,000 churches. It said while the APC had been campaigning on issues of relevance to Nigerians, including how Nigerians would be put back to work, how the citizens would be better protected, how they would be weaned from their forced dependence on electricity generators, and how the party's governors have delivered the dividends of democracy in their states, those on the other side have been treading in negative and inciting campaigns of the most primitive kind. APC also added that Nigerians should disregard anyone peddling religion as a tool for securing votes in any part of the country. It says faith is a personal thing to individuals, and no responsible government will seek to use religion to divide the people. Meanwhile, the People's Democratic Party has described claims by the All Progressives Congress of plans to circulate leaflets in mosques and churches as an unintended leak from the opposition party. Now, this, it says, is because only the APC can stand to benefit from asking Muslims to vote for Muslims. PDP spokesman Olisa Metu said in a statement that the party has consistently aligned to such insensibilities. He maintained that PDP does not need neither religious nor ethnic cleavages to campaign and win the 2015 presidential elections. And still with the People's Democratic Party, the party has now insisted that the audio tape being circulated by the APC do not indicate that last year's governorship election in Ekiti State was rigged. Spokesman for the party's presidential campaign team, Femi Fani-Kayode, said at a news conference in Abuja that none of the people who featured in the leaked audio discussed plans to manipulate the election. Fani-Kayode, on the other hand, presented a video which he claimed showed that the APC rigged the governorship election in Osun State. He also accused the opposition party and its presidential candidate of preparing grounds for post-election violence. A Lagos State High Court in Ikeja has slated March 5, 2015 for judgment in a suit seeking to stop a former Minister of State for Defense, Musiliu Obanikoro, from ever contesting for any electoral office in Nigeria. Among the allegations leveled against the ex-minister was that he had at one time or the other falsified his age and had submitted a forged birth certificate to the Independent National Electoral Commission for the purpose of contesting the governorship election in Lagos State. Obanikoro's accusers also asked the court to determine whether he is still eligible to contest any election in Nigeria, having voluntarily acquired the citizenship of the United States of America, in addition to the citizenship of Nigeria. The action was instituted shortly before the Lagos People's Democratic Party's primary, which held on December 8 last year. The three plaintiffs in the suit are members of the PDP, namely Michael Ogun, Sulaiman Saheed, and Wasiu Oduson. A Borno-based pastor, Kalamu Musa Dikwa, says the money that was allegedly given to pastors by the president is actually 7 billion naira and not 6 billion naira as alleged by Rivers State Governor Rotimi Amechi, who doubles as the Director General of the APC Presidential Campaign Organization. Amechi had alleged that unnamed leaders of the PDP paid 6 billion naira to Christian clerics to campaign against Buhari and the APC. The governor's allegation caused a stir among the Christian clerics, with the Pentecostal Fellowship of Nigeria and the Northern State Christian Elder Forum asking Amechi to name the church leaders who collected the huge bribe. But Musa Dikwa, who's the executive director of the Voice of Northern Christian Movement, while speaking to journalists in Kaduna, said the money was channeled through the Christian Association of Nigeria. He said CAN got the said money, 7 billion naira, on January 26, 2015, and disbursed 3 million naira to each state chairman of the CAN across the country. Musa Dikwa, who was an associate pastor with the EYN Church, Farm Center, Dikwa Road, Maiduguri, Borno State, under Reverend Emmanuel Kwajihe between 2002 and 2004, said that CAN had started threatening Christians in Borno State that they must re-elect Jonathan in the rescheduled election. Musa Dikwa, who was also an associate pastor with a named judge, has also named some high-profile clerics who had benefited from the controversial largesse to actualize the re-election bid of President Jonathan. Edo State Governor Adams Oshomole has empowered over 1,000 widows in the state with an empowerment program worth millions of naira. The governor, while speaking at the ceremony in Government House, said poverty is no excuse to sell permanent voter cards and added that the state government believes that the best way to support widows is to empower them. He said he's convinced that the beneficiaries will put the machines and equipment to good use because the Edo woman is known in history to be resourceful, hardworking, creative, and absolutely trustworthy. The governor maintained the facilities are grants to the beneficiary and not loans to be repaid, adding that by putting these equipment to good use, it will help to support their families and children. And now to Ekiti State, where activities of the state university came to a standstill for the second time in 2 weeks after students of the institution took to the streets over the university's management decision to introduce a 10,000 naira late fee payment levy. The protest would have degenerated into a violent one but for the intervention of Governor Ayo Fayose and the police. Rashid has more on the story.
Students and staff of the Ekiti State University woke up to resume business as usual on the campus, but this did not come to pass as students of the university took to the streets and blocked off access to the campus through the main gate. This, according to some of the student leaders, is to protest against the imposition of a 10,000 naira late fee payment by the management of the institution. The protest was, however, halted by the police in Ado Ekiti. The students said the introduction of the fee is against all rules of fairness.
We have 8,000 naira, maybe for exam levy. We have ICT, 5,000 naira that we are not enjoying. Health center facility, we are not enjoying. ESC, another 1,000 naira for entrepreneurship. All those little monies has in total become an exorbitant fee for us to pay.
We say no to 10,000 increment in our fees. We say no to the DSA. We say no to entrepreneurial course. We want our union return back to us. We want our union return back to us. The school at this material time, understand? The government of the school should be centered around the students. They shouldn't make policies that are not convenient for us again.
The major problem we are facing on this campus is not just the issue of the vice chancellor alone, but the dean of the student affairs. Sure. We demand immediate removal and probe of Professor Adolawo. With immediate effect, yes, the management of the State University should reverse the 10,000 naira.
Ekiti State Police Commissioner Taiwo Lakanu, who led a team of policemen to meet the protesting students, urged them to be calm and use dialogue against taking to the streets.
We are being resilient over this matter because if we should react, nobody knows what the outcome will be. But my men are displaying a lot of maturity, which I sincerely appreciate.
Ekiti State Governor Ayo Fayose, who later got to the scene of the protest, assured the students that government will intervene to find a lasting solution to the matter.
Immediate reversal of the money charged for late registration. Therefore, I have listened to you. The ones that are practicable, we will sit down and take decisions.
As all efforts to reach the school management prove abortive, the effect and result of the protest will only be known in the days to come. Rashid, CoreTV News, Ado Ekiti.
We'll be back after this time out with business, sports, and stories outside Nigeria.
Every day, every hour, and every minute, news break in Nigeria. Things happen so fast, it's most times difficult to track and comprehend them. But that's what we do right here on Digi360. 2015, would you want to come back again?
It's like asking Jesus Christ if he knew he was going to die, will you want to come back as the savior of the world again?
We do not just help you track the stories, we break them down, explore all the angles, analyze the issues so that you can fully comprehend the stories and use them to make the right decisions.
On business tonight, in a bid to generate electricity from solar and gas, the Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission, NERC, has issued 2 on-grid electricity generation licenses to KVK Power Nigeria, PVT Limited, and Aluminium Smelter Company of Nigeria, PLC. According to NERC, both companies would generate a total of 590 megawatts of electricity when fully operational. It says KVT Power would be located in Sokoto State, having met the requirements for the grant of 50 megawatts on-grid generation, with no objection received from the general public to the application. In the same vein, Alscon's application for an on-grid electricity generation in respect of a 360 megawatts gas-fired plant at Ikot Abasi, Akwa Ibom, was approved and issued. NERC has so far issued 4 licenses this year. The yield on Nigeria's one-year treasury bills rose at an auction where a total of 142.43 billion naira was raised. The Debt Management Office said that on Thursday. The yield rose to 15.25% at the auction, held from 14.3% on the one-year note, fetching 80 billion naira. The yield on the 3-month paper eased to 10.75% from 10.98% at the last auction on February 3rd, fetching 32.43 billion naira. The yield on the 6-month paper fell to 13.7% from 13.9% previously, which fetched 30 billion naira. And total demand at the auction fell to 254.33 billion naira from 294.54 billion naira from the last auction. Now let's join Sabina Izoku for Stock Market Report, brought to you by MTN.
CoreTV News Stock Market Report.
Hello there and welcome to the Stock Market Report segment with me, Sabina Izoku. The equity transaction on the floor of the Nigerian Stock Exchange ended on a positive note today as the Nigerian All-Shares Index appreciated by 0.36% to close at 29,282.04 basis points. The market capitalization increased in the same manner to close at 9.77 trillion naira. In all, a total volume of 564.27 million units of shares valued at 6 billion naira were exchanged in 4,385 deals. On the gainers side, Nestle topped the gainers chart to close at 819 naira 99 kobo with a price difference of 28 naira 82 kobo, followed by Seplat Oil, 40 Oil, Total, and West African Production Company of Nigeria. On the flip side, Julius Berger topped the losers chart, followed by Dangote Cement, Guinness, International Breweries, and Zenith Bank. Meanwhile, Computer Warehouse Group topped the traders chart, followed by Guarantee Trust Bank, Axis Bank, First Bank Nigerian Holders, and Zenith Bank. Just before we wrap up the stock market report, here is the currency trade for today.
CoreTV News Stock Market Report.
Thank you, Sabina. Brownson Uwana is now standing by to bring you up to date with news from the world of sport.
A very thanks for joining me on our Sport News tonight. I am Brownson Uwana. Head coach of Nigeria Under-17 national team Emmanuel Menike has blamed his side's 1-1 draw to Guinea on Wednesday to loss of initiative and composure. Captain Kelechi Nwakali scored from penalty spot late to salvage points for the Golden Eaglets as they ended 1-1 draw against the West African team in their second game at the ongoing CAF Under-17 Championship. The former international side Hamoudou Kamaras were better than his side, while insisting that the penalty awarded to his team was not a controversial one. Ndukai Rabo, chairman of League Management Company, says he's putting up new measures to address the trend of poor welfare of players among teams in the upcoming 2014-2015 Nigerian Professional Football League. Irabo, who assured of improved organization and competitive fields when the new MPL season resumed on March 7, also urged football-loving Nigerians to show more support in helping to grow the domestic league. The former lawmaker said the exit of league's talented player to some obscure league abroad is a good development considering the improved standard of living of players. The opening game of the 2014-2015 season, league champions Kano Pillars will begin their chase for a 4th straight title at Heartland in Owerri, while runners-up Enyimba International will start their bid to reclaim the title in Aba against Akwa United. Luis Figo will consider a bigger World Cup if he's selected to replace Blatter as FIFA president. Releasing his manifesto at Wembley Stadium, the legendary Portugal midfielder said he would look at increasing the number of teams from 32 to 40 or even 48. 42-year-old Figo is one of 3 candidates challenging Blatter in the elections on May 29. He also proposed sin bid and reverting to the old offside rules interruption. And now to news in the EPL. Yaya Toure could yet become Inter player, having rejected a new contract from Manchester City, according to reports in Spain. Barcelona coach Roberto Mancini has spoken repeatedly about bringing the Ivorian midfielder to Italy, but director Piero Alcillo described a move as almost impossible. However, two Spain newspapers report that a deal may not be as far-fetched as it may seem, with talks advancing between all parties. Meanwhile, Toure has rejected the offer of a new contract with City, and his agent has entered negotiations with Inter with a view of securing the transfer for next season. Finally, on our sport news tonight, in the world of Formula One, Socio Wolff's first appearance for the year on the opening day of the Barcelona test ended with a high-speed crash after his Williams collided with Felipe Nasser Suba. Wolff was on an outlap at the time when the accident occurred, while the Brazilian was a top lap as the two drivers approached turn 5 at Circuit de Catalunya. Although both Nasser and Wolff were unhurt in the crash, their collision resulted in a 20-minute delay while their two cars were retrieved from the grave tap. The Suba, in particular, suffered extensive damage, with the ring rear of Nasser's car apparently ripped off. And that's a wrap on Sport News tonight. A very big thanks for watching. I am Brownson Owana.
You can now watch CoreTV News live from anywhere in the world on our website, www.coretvnews.com. Click on Live TV on our website and watch us live.
And welcome to CoreTV Primetime Days.
To follow us on Twitter, click on Twitter icon on our website. On Facebook, click on the Facebook and YouTube to see all our previous news production. You can also watch us live on YouTube. Click CoreTV, leave a space, then news. CoreTV News, a 24-hour news station.
Outside Nigeria, Russia's UN ambassador, Vitaly Cherkin, has denounced Ukraine's call for the deployment of UN peacekeepers in eastern Ukraine as a destructive move, saying the Ukrainian president's call raises suspicions and has the intention of destroying the Minsk Accord. The Minsk ceasefire deal was reached a week ago, but fighting around the strategic town of Debaltseve saw the withdrawal of Ukrainian troops there. Ukrainian officials reported mortar attacks by separatists on the coastal town of Shorokin near Mariupol. Cherkin accused Ukrainian President Petro Poroshenko of seeking a new scheme instead of doing what he had signed up to do. The leadership of the self-proclaimed Donetsk People's Republic described the call for peacekeepers as a violation of the Minsk Accords. The leaders of Russia, Ukraine, Germany and France, the four parties to the Minsk Accords, held further talks over the phone on Thursday. The French presidency said the ceasefire breaches were denounced and the leaders called for the implementation of the full package of measures agreed in Minsk, including a full ceasefire, withdrawal of heavy weapons and the release of prisoners. Poroshenko called for UN-mandated peacekeepers to enforce the ceasefire after fighting continued following the rebel advance in Debaltseve. To end CoreTV Primetime News tonight, a recap of some of our top stories. We reported that jets of the Nigerian forces are now in action over Sambisa Forest and parts of Goza as Boko Haram insurgents flee. National Peace Committee has called for action from security forces on the Okrika rally violence. The Senate has adopted the Alteration Bill as moves to amend the Constitution gathers momentum. And that's been the show tonight. On behalf of everyone here, I am Nifemi Oguntoye. Thanks for being there.